Welcome to our channel, Ascending in Love, because it's the only way to do it. Hope you all are doing wonderful. It is been nice and chilly here in the southeast, and we got our first snow since we've lived here, which has been a few years we've been here. It was very beautiful, but very nice and cold. So just getting thawed out now, and was able to spend some time outside in the sunshine today, and that was very nice. So I am appreciating that. And to all those who are facing storms and fires and so much in the world right now, I pray for you, and I send you much love and all God's light. So best to all, love you all of humanity. And okay, so today we're coming back to do the second video. If you have not seen the first video, it is labeled something like Intro to the Third Testament and the beginning. So we just went into kind of what the Third Testament, how it came about, and just my own testimony about my life and the life of people I know that have been touched by these writings. Because once you just start listening to them, as for us, we have listened to them, we have wrote them, read it, just completely embraced these teachings, because we really feel like this is just another chapter on to the biblical teachings that are taking us into modern day times, where we can understand what Jesus was speaking about, the things we need to move forward in our ascension process to birth the Christ within us. What God has sent us all here to do is this process. So for many years, my husband and I were praying for the answers of, what God would have us do. How are we prepared, not only to live our best physical life, but prepared for the spiritual, and to live heaven on earth, because that is what Joshua was telling us in the Bible, is that the kingdom of God is within us. And so we have been seeking this information for many years, praying for it, and God brought this book to us through just a series of events that was slightly, miraculous, only God could unfold, and revealed to us to listen to these teachings, that they hold much truth. So just as I said in my first video, because this work has touched our lives so much and the lives of others that we have shared it with, we wanted to share it with the world on YouTube. So I just pray that you would go to God in prayer and discernment of your own, listen to your own intuition, and just remember all of those who have walked in religion, which has been my case, just come in with an open mind, open heart, go to prayer, and just take in some new understandings, some new things, and just don't judge it, please, and just soak it in and take it to God. All right, so we are going to start today on really getting into the material. We had the intro video before. This is the second video in which we are going into more of what we're living in, the times in which we're living, to help us along, because we know we all want to be the example of God in this world like Jesus was, and we all can. So getting the most information on how we can do that, I think, is a priority. Okay, so we're going to start today with the forerunner, the counsels of Elijah, the prophet. Okay, I am Elijah, the prophet of the first era, and of the transfiguration on Mount Tabor. Prepare yourselves, for you have been given the knowledge of the seven seals, and the doors of mystery have been opened, so that you may contemplate the path of your salvation. Behold, the word of God fulfilled, pronounced since remote times by his prophets. Be it known that there is joy in the celestial mansions. He has mansions prepared for us all, right? There is joy in the celestial mansions, and that it is the divine master, the sacrificed lamb, whom John beheld in his revelation, who has opened the sixth seal with his most powerful and perfect hand, and with it the third and the last of the eras. So I think what we're realizing is that we are further along in Revelation than some may soon, because again, we've got a very long period of time and people are always guessing where we are. So I think this is going to clue you into more of where we are and what has been fulfilled and what has not been fulfilled, and the spiritual representation of the Bible versus only physical things that we are looking for, which I can really appreciate. Okay, so the light of the sixth candlestick illuminates you, humanity. How about that? The light of the sixth candlestick illuminates us. Voice of the one who speaks in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord. The prophet announced, and here I am, preparing the coming of my Lord, of your heavenly Father, the great Yahweh, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God who spoke to Moses in the Sinai and delivered the law to his people. So here then the promise is fulfilled, and he returns, surrounded by his angels, to reveal every mystery and to show the path of salvation to every spirit. For it is in this period of time that the prophecy shall be fulfilled, that every flesh will see him and every spirit will feel him. How about that? Therefore be prepared, O Israel, to receive your Lord and God. For the era of the Holy Spirit has now begun among you. How about that? 22 precepts are the legacy of the envoys of the three eras. Precepts that clarify and explain to you the law of God, so that you may guide yourselves during your human existence in accordance with them. These 22 precepts form in their unity the law, and they are formed by the explanation of the commandments that God delivered through Moses, the envoy of the first era, through the teaching of Jesus, the envoy of the second era, and by the precepts through Elijah, the envoy of the third era, which are revealed to the people of Israel through Roque Rojas, as a prelude towards the opening of the sixth seal and the third of the eras, the first of September of 1866 in this Mexican nation. And these are the precepts. Okay, so I think he's telling us that God's delivered through Moses and Jesus, and now we're getting teachings through Elijah to help us along our path. And these precepts are, and forgive me anyone if I mispronounce names, I'm not the best with that. And these precepts are: first, you shall love your God above everything created. Yeah, I think that's way important. 2, you shall not speak evil about your brethren, even though you might have a motive to do so. It is for God to defend your cause if it is a just one. So that's pretty profound, because how much do we judge others? I walk through the store. Almost every time I walk through the store, someone is on the phone talking about someone else, usually complaining, gossiping. So for the whole store to hear. But I notice it happens a lot. And I always say, your words, your thoughts towards another, we think because we don't go punch someone, we're not harming them, or, we're not doing physical damage to them. But your thoughts and words can hurt way more than any physical damage, because the physical damage can heal, versus a lot of the thoughts and words that we send out, the things we do behind people's back, the energy still goes out to that person in a negative way and then returns to you in an even more negative way. So to talk about peace positively, see the divine in all, is really, where we're to walk, and let God handle the rest. Number 3, you shall not love any religion which does not recognize in Mary the maternal essence of God who has always existed, and you shall be charitable to your brethren, whoever they are. We know that Mary played a very important part in the maternal essence of we all know that how moms are on this planet. They're amazing. So it's important to recognize what she brought to this world, and being charitable, always giving to others. Sometimes it can just be a smile that can bring so much to another. Okay, You shall love your parents after God and your children in the same manner. For the first, veneration and respect, and for the second, charity and good example in everything. So, like he's saying, put God first, and then your parents and your children, and those people come next. And he's saying that you respect God, and for your children, you are showing charity and a good example in everything. And so, okay, and number 5, you shall not swear nor hold God as a witness to a lie. So I think a lot of people hold their hands up and say they're going to tell the truth, but you don't even have to swear on a Bible or any of those steps. Just not telling the truth is really your I am presence within you, God's presence within you, that's confirming something that's a falsehood. So doesn't want you to be involved in that. And all right, so number 6, you shall not work on the 7th day, for that day is for prayer and rest. Now that has been for us, it was Sunday for a long time, and then after much dedication to studies, we realized that ultimately Saturday is the Sabbath day, is the commandment. So we chose to start honoring Saturday is our day off, and we always keep that within jobs, that we don't work on Saturday, and we just really take that day to rest, and give to our better good. Okay, and number 7, you shall not take the woman of your brother as if she were your own wife, nor shall you do harm to those who are not your brothers. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Do not dedicate yourself to usury, causing grave harm with it. Number 9, do not drink beverages that will intoxicate you, nor shall you use any element of creation that will cloud your senses and submit you to lower passions. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 10, do not engage in a ruinous occupation that will take away the morality and protect the vices. So that is pretty profound, because it's just saying anything that you do for work that's not helpful, that if it corrupts others or has others doing things that they probably wouldn't normal, it's just contributing to vice. I even say that, we have a desire not to be in anything that sells people things they don't need, because, obviously consumerism is just taking us over, materialism. So, to just stay in jobs that contribute to something good, I think is very important, so that can continue to grow within our society. And I think a lot of the things we have today, as far as even our governments, our systems, are all these things are because we have accepted doing these types of jobs, that people just say, well, I've got to make $1, so they just do what they do, and a lot of times at the expense of others. So I think it's just definitely something that we might all want to consider, that it's not just about the money, but if you're really harming others, and if you're making a contribution to this world in some way or to others. Okay, so we're going to go to number 11. You shall not defend civil war, thus dividing your brethren, nor shall you take part in foreign wars. You are only permitted to participate in activities of war if your nation is the one invaded, and the government of that nation, whichever it is, would order it for their defense. And even then, you must comport yourself with the greatest charity, and you will have no enemies, because you are all children of the same Father. So, not really promoting war, right? Obviously, if we're invaded, our government tells us this is what we got to do, but he's telling you how to still not have enemies. Understand you're just doing this, for the greater good in service. But we don't want to keep promoting war. We definitely want war to stop. So I wouldn't even watch war in movies anymore. Let's just cut all of that out. Let's just keep the movies out. Keep the war out of the news, out of the movies, so we stop creating that. Okay, do not commit infanticide of children who are about to be born, because if you do, the Holy Spirit will demand accounting from you. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, about protecting the children. Let's not, get pregnant unless we really want to get the children here, have them be here. Do not treat the poor harshly or severely, whoever they are. Let's just treat all people good. You shall not curse anything created. I think we do a lot of that, People say they hate stuff, and I just think, hate is a very strong word that shouldn't be used on anything on this planet, because God created all of these things and we want to get hate out. So, but I remember someone saying, whatever you curse curses you back. And I thought, yeah, because whatever you send out comes back to you. So it's probably good to just bless everything so it can start being its better form. You shall not despise those who suffer illness you regard as revolting. So, let's not say people who are sick or have issues as, we're revolted by them or don't want to be near them or something to that effect. Also, we want to pray for their healing. You shall not speak badly of persons in public, thus causing their disgrace. Well, that's kind of what I was saying earlier when people talk on the phone very loud for all to hear. But we obviously don't know who those people are, but, you hear people, saying stuff to each other out in public for everyone to hear. But, I just think when you share your positives with others, that is just the best way to go. Because how many times have you shared the negatives and it's just about another or them? You don't want them to do it about you. So it just goes around, comes around. Okay, so let's go back up our list. Number 17, you shall not abandon your children to strange hands, and you can only do so in your extreme necessity and only when the proper conduct of the benefactor is known. So take care of your kids and don't just leave them with strangers. You shall not force children to do any work that will teach them vices. Don't have your children working on things that are going to take them down the wrong path. You shall not advise or teach your brethren stories and tales which are not true, and you shall speak not out. You shall not speak out nor propagate the evil that your brothers say they do. So we don't want to just be out there shouting about all the evil and continuing to give more energy to the negative. And speak, obviously, things that we don't know are truth. You shall not keep for yourself what belongs to others. Give it all. They want your shirt, give them your jacket too, right? What Joshua said. You shall visit the sick and comfort them. Yeah, I think that's self-explanatory. You shall not bear arms against your brethren or kill them, either with weapons or civil death. So that's a hard one to hear, I'm sure, for many, because we all feel like we want to be able to defend ourselves. For my own personal walk, I'm not against people doing what they want in that arena, but I also have a strong faith in God as my protection. And I feel like if I have a mindset that I'm going to need to pull a weapon on someone's going to do something harmful to me, I'm just asking that to come forth in my reality. If I just live my life and that God is providing everything, God is my protector, my fortress, then I shouldn't need anything, because if anyone's going to protect us, it's God. There's, nothing more than that. Your trust in that will be beyond any weapon. So that's how I feel. And one time, I remember, maybe even more than one time, the angels had guided me personally, told me that we spend so much time guarding our doors, our cars, locking stuff up, putting up boundaries. But we should do that for our inside, because we allow so much negative thoughts and judgments and all of these things to open us up to attacks within our being of negative energy and things just coming our way that we do not want. So knowing that God supplies all things and protects us, and knowing that we don't really need to even lock our doors if you have enough faith that that God is handling all of that for you. And I've heard people telling stories where they've been in the most dangerous of situations and they truly tested that faith and left their doors unlocked and really walked in this way that people would probably think is kind of wild or nutty. And they were protected for many years in just this, just really wild situation where danger was surrounding them. So, you hear people go on missions and bombs are exploding everywhere, but, they make it through just fine. So I think, again, it is about truly believing in the protection of God. But that is my opinion. Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's what he says. If you proceed accordingly, and if you impart charity and more charity, your shepherd says to you, you shall behold my Father in all his splendor. So make charity a priority. Men and women of all number 12. Men and women of all ages will come before the presence of the divine master, and the word of the Father will reveal to each one the gifts he bears in his spirit, as well as the mission he has to fulfill. Number 13, only he can do these things, for only he is the one who has donated to the Spirit. Number 14, my Father has compared me to a shepherd, and he has sent me to seek the lost and strayed spirits from the pathway of light. Those spirits, some incarnated and others free of the matter, are to the Father like sheep, whom he dearly loves, and for that reason he wants them rescued and led to his bosom of perfection, which is the divine fold, where he awaits the arrival of his flock. That's so beautiful. Number 15, Elijah tells you, get to know me too. Penetrate into my messages and manifestations, which I have brought to you during 3 eras by the will of the Father. So you can always ask Elijah to come forth and make things known to you and walk with you on your path, just as you can ask Jesus. Envision me during, number 16, envision me during the first era, struggling against the darkness of paganism and all idolatry, causing the ray of light of the true God to descend upon the Holocaust in order to open the eyes of the people towards the truth. Number 17, behold me ascend in spirit toward the heavens in a chariot of fire, and from there communicate and speak through the spirit of Elisha, as an announcement of the things that were to come in the course of time. Number 18, study for the life of the Baptist, and in that forerunner you will find and understand besides that through it the Father revealed to you the divine, perfect, and just law of the reincarnation of the Spirit. So when he says study the life of the Baptist, that is John the Baptist. And, that was a huge revelation for us that we reincarnate. And if you realize in the Bible, you've got people becoming other people changing names. People are, because the Bible was written over a long period of time and put together. So you're realizing that, people are having the same people are having multiple lives in the Bible. And so, this was a huge revelation for us because, when you're walking in Christianity, they're completely turning you against this. But when you really have these knowings and you go back to the Bible, everything just starts fitting, where you will really understand, like, this makes no sense. But then when you start learning these things, and it just opens up the whole doors to saying, oh, now I get it. Oh, now it makes sense. And then something I realized that now when I read the Bible, it really helps me versus I don't really understand what this means. This kind of sounds good, but how do I really incorporate it in my life? And now I understand on a deeper level what these teachings were, and it has helped me tremendously. Okay, so number 19, the spirit of prophecy is spread upon every spirit so that you may have a vision of the eternity that awaits you. I was speaking of in my first video on this has come through prophecy, just as the disciples, apostles, people have spoken and given the stories of the Bible. This is prophecy coming from God through people who are ready to receive. Okay, but this is what we need for today's time. All right. The spiritual intuition dormant for such a long time will awaken and perceive all that is to come. So, yay, we'll all get heightened intuition and we'll be able to go with our gut feeling more and really know within and not have to go on the outside to figure out everything and listen to everybody else. That's been just a huge deal on my own walk, is that I just, asked the Father just would please confirm things for me as I would get knowings, as I would feel things, confirm that that's truth or not truth. So I know what my guidance is telling me, that I know that I'm hearing from that still small voice within me, and that I choose to go by my own inner direction versus what the world is having me do, which took time through prayer and meditation to get to that point, because it is a stillness of the body and a connection through a higher vibration to receive those messages. And let me tell you, it is so valuable. Whew. Okay, so number 21, Now I come in spirit, and I will make my presence felt among mankind by combating with the fire of truth, idolatry, materialism, arrogance, and imposture. It's a lot of stuff going down. 22, I shall make way through the thorns and thistles for the flock who, with gentleness, confidence, and faith, will follow me along the path of spirituality that leads towards the Father. Number 23, the struggle draws near. However, the divine power will be great upon the spirit, so that they may triumph over the flesh, over the passions, and over evil. Number 24, I have not come to destroy, nor put the spirits to death. Instead, I have come to exterminate sin with the fire of justice of the Father. However, I say to you that if, in order to save a spirit, it is necessary for his body to succumb, that is within the justice of divine love. Number 25, if these things confuse you here on earth, where a human body is considered as most sacred, in turn a spirit who has been wrested from a body which carries him toward the abyss, once in the spiritual valley, he gives infinite thanks to the Father for having been rescued from the precipice, even when, for that reason, the flesh had to suffer. So we know sometimes the flesh has to suffer to get out of the abyss and come back into the light. It is true that humanity is draining a cup that, being so bitter, goodness, deeply touches the very heavens. However, after the purification that man has brought upon himself, the resurgence of the Spirit will come, and with it the renewal of virtue, of fraternity, and worship agreeable to the Father. I was telling you that we are facing our reckoning. We are draining a bitter cup right now. But on the other side, there's renewal, and we will come in harmony with God. That's amazing. 27, my flock, observe how you have been given a name which represents gentleness, obedience, and humility. Be therefore the sheep of Elijah, and I, your shepherd, shall take you by the hand or upon my shoulder to the presence of the eternal in this era. How beautiful. Number 28, I truly know you, and there is no need of any material insignia, for I know that it is upon your spirit where the Father has placed his seal, his mark. So that's interesting, because there's talk about a mark in the Bible, and this is saying you don't want a material mark. You want the mark of God. I am not about this world. I am not about materialism being everything that I'm about. I am about my spiritual growth and being in harmony with God, so you can receive God's seal. 29, upon presenting myself before you, manifesting myself through a human spokesman, a communication that I verify in fulfillment of the mandate of my Father. I salute you, O chosen ones of God, called upon the Father in this period of time. So, many are called, few are chosen. So you can only hope to just be on that path. Number 30, it is my spirit who seeks you, who calls you, who prepares the pathway for you, and the one who tests you to prepare your arrival before the presence of the Master through his word. Okay, so we're going to stop there because I think I've already gotten pretty far in some time with you all. I don't want to keep you too long for each video because we want to just process each one. Now we got to number 30 in the Council of Elijah. Okay. All right, and so we are to number 30 on just going over this information. Let me see how many there are. There's still, okay, so there are 57 of those. So we have 27 more to go over. So I will start that on the next video. So listen to this over and over, because some things you will not understand the first time or the second or the third. And I know that no matter what your mind is processing on a soul level, you are processing this information, and what is truth will be made known to you. So I thank you all for just joining me for this, to go through this book and to just share this information, because even if you can just take a few pieces of it and it helps you in your daily walk, then we're all coming more and more into the harmony of God and helping us all, because I know life is difficult, and to have anything that we can do to help us, because it is about seeking the kingdom and all else will be added. I say that to myself often because our mind tries to seek everything else. So you really got to just get on, what is seeking the kingdom, and know that all else will be provided. You are safe, protected, and provided for. You are deeply loved and treasured. We all are. And so I just say have a great rest of your day. God bless you all. I'll bless the Christ within you all. And we will start again. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get back on for another piece. But if not, real soon after that. So thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Bye.